I booked a cabin because I wanted quiet. By midnight, my phone was broken, in the snow, my keys were gone, and the only person offering to help me was holding an axe. It was supposed to be a weekend alone in the mountains. The listing looked perfect, a small cabin off a private road, surrounded by pine trees, with big windows facing the snow. I arrived just after 3, before the storm got bad. The GPS lagged near the property, and the road was so narrow that branches scraped the sides of my car. Small orange reflectors stuck out in the snowbanks. Inside the cabin, it was warm and clean. I dropped my keys in a ceramic bowl by the door and texted my sister that I made it. The text sat on sending for almost 10 minutes. About an hour later, someone knocked. A man stood on the porch, in a heavy jacket, boots covered in snow, with a wool hat pulled down. "You must be the guest," he said. I didn't answer right away. He smiled and pointed toward the road. "I'm the caretaker. Owner asked me to check in on people when a storm is coming." That made enough sense. He was calm, practical. He spoke like someone who knew the property. He said the storm was moving faster than expected. The road might even close overnight. Cell service usually died after dark. If the power went out, he told me not to touch the breaker outside. "The snow gets into that panel," he said. "It'll shock you." Then his eyes flicked past me, just once, towards the bowl by the door. I noticed it. I just didn't understand it yet. Before he left, he said, "Start your car every few hours if you can. Cold kills batteries up here. Don't lock it while it warms. These doors freeze shut sometimes." I thanked him, locked the door, and tried to enjoy the cabin. By night, the storm had swallowed the woods. The wind pressure pressed high against the walls, and every normal cabin sound started to feel like movement. Around 9:30, the lights went out. The cabin dropped into darkness so suddenly I spilled my tea on my sleeve. I grabbed my phone. No service. I thought about the breaker box, but then I remembered the man said, "Snow gets into that panel, it'll shock you." So instead, I lit a few candles and waited. 10 minutes passed, then 20. The cabin started cooling down. That's when I remember the car. I told myself I was just being responsible. I took my keys from the bowl, pulled on my boots and a coat, and stepped outside. The storm was worse than I looked through the glass. Snow hit my face sideways, and the only light came from my phone and the pale shape of my car. I opened the driver door, climbed in, and started the engine. It hesitated, but then it turned on. I set the key fob in the cup holder so I could use both hands to pull the stiff door shut and brush the snow off the windshield. Then, behind me, the cabin door slammed. I turned around, annoyed before I was scared. I thought the wind had caught it. I hurried back to the porch and grabbed the handle, but it didn't move. I pulled harder. Nothing. For a few seconds, I just stared at the door, like it had misunderstood me. Then, I tried again. Shoulder against the wood, fingers burning from the cold, but it was locked, or frozen, or jammed. That's what I told myself. I turned back toward the car for the keys. The driver door was open wider than I had left it. Snow was blowing in across the seat. The cup holder was empty. I searched the seat, the floor, my pockets, and the snow, but the keys were gone. Then, a flashlight came through the trees. It was the caretaker. For half a second I almost cried from relief. He came toward me, one hand up against the wind. "What happened?" he asked. "The door locked," I said. "And I can't find my keys." He looked at the cabin, then at the car. "Probably froze," he said. "Door latches do that up here." Something in his voice was too calm. He told me I couldn't stay outside. This place was close, he said, just through the trees. I didn't want to go with him. My phone had no service. My car keys were gone. The cabin door wouldn't open, and the cold was cutting through my coat. So, I followed him. Within minutes, the rental cabin disappeared from the snow. Then, that's when my phone buzzed. One bar had appeared. and a call came through from an unknown number. I answered so fast that I almost dropped it. "Aaron?" a man asked through the static. "This is Mark, the property caretaker. I've been trying to reach you." I stopped walking. The man ahead of me stopped walking too. The voice on the phone said, "Listen, I never made it up to the mountain. The county closed the road before noon. Are you at the cabin?" I looked up. The man in front of me slowly turned around. The real caretaker's voice cracked through the speaker. "Aaron, is someone there with you?" The man's face had gone blank. He then said, very softly, "Hang up." He lifted an axe then. I hadn't noticed it before. Tucked low at his side, half hidden by his coat. He didn't swing it yet. He didn't have to. "Drop it," he said. The real caretaker was saying my name when the phone hit the snow. The man stepped on it first. Then, he brought the blunt side of the axe down once, hard enough to crack the screen and kill the call. After that, he pointed into the trees. "Walk," he said. His cabin sat back further than what he had said, almost hidden beneath sagging branches. It didn't look like a home. It looked like something the woods had been trying to swallow. The smell hit me before I crossed the doorway. Mildew, kerosene, wet clothes, old food, something sour near the sink. Inside were trash bags, dirty dishes, stained blankets over the windows, canned food, muddy boots, and rusted tools. It looked abandoned and lived in at the same time. Then I saw the binoculars. They were sitting near a window facing the rental cabin. On the table were handwritten notes, car colors, license plate numbers, arrival times, descriptions of people. The newest note was on the top. Gray car, one woman, dark coat, alone. My keys were hanging from a hook by the door. I looked at them too long. He noticed. "Sit down," he said. I asked who he was, what he wanted, why he was doing this. He smiled, like I had asked the wrong question. "People come here thinking nobody sees them," he said. Then he mentioned the sweater I had changed into after arriving, a detail he could only know if he had been watching me through the windows. I backed away. Then he grabbed my arm, hard enough to steer me, not hit me. He pushed me into a small back room that smelled like damp wood and old gasoline. He shut the latch from the outside. At first, I screamed. Then, I begged. Then, I stopped, because the room was too cold to waste breath. He stayed outside the door for a while, talking in the same, calm voice. "No one's coming up here tonight," he said. "And even if they do, they'll go to the rental cabin first. They don't know this place exists." That's when I believed I might die right there. Not because he said it loudly, because he said it like a fact. Hours passed. My hands went numb. My feet hurt so badly, they stopped feeling like feet. I heard him opening drawers, dragging something heavy. Then, the front door opened and shut. I waited until I couldn't hear him anymore. Then, I felt around the room. There were old shelves, torn bags of salt, broken bracelets, and strips of rusted metal. Near the floor, behind the warped boards, I found a rotted panel. I worked at it with a metal strip until my fingers cramped. Every sound made me freeze, but the wood was soft from moisture. Eventually, it cracked. The opening was barely big enough. I scraped my shoulder getting through, crawled into a narrow space beside the cabin, and pushed out into the snow. I could have run then, but I remembered the keys. Without them, I would never make it down the mountain. I crept back around to the front. The cabin was quiet, except for the wind and the weak hum of the heater. I slipped inside, crossed the room, and reached for the hook. The keys jingled, the front door opened. He stood there, snow on his shoulders, axe in hand. For 1 second, neither of us moved. Then I ran. I don't remember the first part clearly. The snow, trees, and the beam of his flashlight jumping behind me. I fell once and lost a glove. I got up because I could hear his breathing somewhere behind me. When I finally saw my car, it looked impossibly far away. The door was half frozen, but I yanked it open and threw myself inside. I locked it just as he reached for the handle. He pulled once, then he slammed his axe into the window frame. I dropped my keys. For a few horrible seconds, I couldn't find them. He circled the car, hitting the glass and shouting. My fingers closed around the fob near the pedals. The engine struggled once, twice. Then, it started. He stepped out in front of the car. I don't know what I would have done if he hadn't moved. But, in the last second, he did. And I swerved around him, sliding down the driveway so hard the car nearly spun sideways. I followed the reflectors through the snow, barely able to see. A mile down, I reached a road barricade and a county plow truck. The police went back after the storm had cleared, but the man was gone. The owner told him no one was supposed to be living in that building. It had been an old winter maintenance cabin, used years ago to store snow tools, road salt, generator parts, and emergency supplies. It was supposed to be locked and empty. Inside, police found a cot, canned food, binoculars, handwritten notes, and my broken phone near the trail. They also found the hook by the door where my keys had been. 3 other key rings were still hanging there. The police never told me who they belonged to. I escaped because I got my keys back. I still wonder who never did.